Afro Tales Podcast is a part of the Connected Podcast Network. Chef. Yes, Glio. Don't you love how we get to share our stories and recipes? Yes, I enjoy it greatly. Do you know what makes it possible for everyone to hear us? Yes, Glio. Our voices, obviously. True, but it's also Anchor, a hosting platform that distributes the podcast to places like Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and others. Oh, yes. And isn't everything needed to make a podcast in one place? That's correct. And the best thing of all, Chef, it's free. Free, you say? Free. And all I had to do is download the Anchor app or go to anchor.fm to get started. So, you just had to download the Anchor app or go to anchor.fm to get started. Yep. Download the Anchor app or go to anchor.fm and do what we're doing now. Fantastic, Grio. Simply fantastic. I know, Chef. I know. Well, hello there. I'm Aman Mazingo, your storyteller, and this is season 2 of the AfroTales podcast, where we journey through the Americas and the Caribbean to explore the tales that grew from its African diaspora. I want to thank Art by Chalet for the beautiful episode art, and especially thank you for joining us on today's adventure. The day Brer Fox and Brer Dog became enemies. Now, I know what you think. Once the animals got here on Earth, what happened next? Well, I'm going to tell you what happened. The first thing that happened, and, well, I guess not really the first, but it happened soon after. You see, Brer Fox and Brer Dog wound up not being friends anymore. Oh, you want to hear the story? Okay. Well, here it is. You see, when the animals started living here on Earth, something seemed to happen to them. Where before they had gotten along with each other, now they started having little arguments and disagreements. It was only a matter of time before they weren't much different from people. You know how we can be. Now, Brer Fox and Brer Rabbit was sitting along the road one day talking about much of nothing when they heard a strange sound. What's that? Brer Fox wanted to know. He didn't know whether to be scared or not. That? Answered Brer Rabbit. Sound like Sister Goose. What's she doing? Battling clothes, said Brer Rabbit. I know you don't know what I'm talking about right there. You take your clothes to the laundromat or have a washing machine and dryer sitting right there in your house. But way back yonder, folks took their clothes down to the creek or stream or whatsoever, got them real wet, laid them across a big rock or something, took a stick and beat the dirt out of them. You don't know nothing about no clean clothes until you put on some that had been cleaned with a battling stick. Well, when Brer Fox heard Sister Goose was down at the stream, his eyes got big, and Brer Rabbit knew his mind had just gotten fixed up on something. Brer Fox said he reckoned he better get on home. Brer Rabbit said he supposed he should do the same. And they went their separate ways. Now, Brer Rabbit decided to double back, however. He went down to the stream where Sister Goose was. How you doing today, Sister Goose? I'm fine, Brer Rabbit. Excuse me for not shaking hands with you, but I got all these suds on my hands. Brer Rabbit said he understood. Now, hold on. I suppose I gotta stop the story again, cause I can hear you thinking that goose don't have hands. Next thing I know, you try to get me to believe that snakes don't have feet and cats don't have wings. And I know better. So if you don't mind, you keep your thoughts to yourself and I'll get back to the story. All right now? All right. Okay, now after Brer Rabbit and Sister Goose had finished exchanging their pleasantries of the day, Brer Rabbit said, I got to talk with you about Brer Fox. He's coming for you, Sister Goose, and it'll probably be before daybreak. Sister Goose got all nervous and scared. What am I gonna do, Brer Rabbit? My husband is dead, and ain't no man around the house. What am I gonna do? Brer Rabbit thought for a minute. I got it. Take all your clothes and roll them up in a nice clean white sheet and put that on your bed tonight. Then you go spend the night up in the rafters. You hear me? So that's what Sister Goose did. But she also sent for her friend, Brer Dog, and asked him if he keep watch that night. He said he'd be glad to. Just before daybreak, just as Brer Rabbit said, Brer Fox creeped up into the house, looked around, eased the front door open and slipped inside. He saw something big and white on the bed. He grabbed it and ran out the door. Soon as he jumped off the porch, Brer Dog came out from under the house, growling and scratching and barking, kicking up dirt. Brer Fox dropped that bundle of clothes like it was a burning log and took off. It's a good thing, too, because it had taken Brer Dog 4 months to find somebody who could wash and iron as good as Sister Goose. And he wasn't about to let nothing happen to her. Now, the next day, when the news got around that Brer Fox had tried to steal Sister Goose's laundry, he couldn't go nowhere for it. Brer Fox blamed Brer Dog for spreading the news through the community. And ever since that day, the dog and the fox have not got along with each other. And it serves Brer Fox right, chasing and trying to eat old Sister Goose like that. The end. Now, I'll tell you one thing about this story. It got me to understand something that I never thought I'd understand. I've watched a lot of English, or I should say British, shows and everything like that, especially when you go into more period pieces and everything, and you always see the hunt, right? The dogs chasing the foxes and everything on the hunt. And I used to wonder why, for those people in my age group, we remember the movie Fox and the Hound, how the dog, was hunting the fox and everything like that, and then they became friends. So you see all of these movies like this where dogs and foxes don't get along. And I never thought about it, I just thought I used to think it was weird that foxes were being chased by dogs. And this story really gives you a perspective on how that could have happened. Just one version of how that could have happened. And I like it. I like this version of how dogs and fox became enemies, because a lot of it is lifelike, right? Like, when you think about people you knew or people that were once cool friends or whatever, and now are no longer friends, now are even enemies, and you wonder, how did that happen? Hatfields and McCoys, type thing. Like, y'all didn't always hate each other. There was a time when you did actually the Hatfield and McCoys is really a good example of two sets of people that got along, and then something occurred, and then generations went through a battle of not getting along with each other, just hating each other. And we know people nowadays who you were probably once friends with. I know I have a few that I was cool with when I was young, and then they did something to me, and we're no longer friends. You know, think about your best friend. You probably had fights with them, yelled at them, screamed at them, just went, bonkers on each other. Yet you're still cool. You're still best friends with each other. Me and my best friend, Big Mike, that's how we are. We've tussled and yelled and screamed and cursed each other out. But to this day, no matter how far we are apart on this earth, we're always best friends, brothers even. But then I have other friends who've done me wrong, and to this day, I don't even want to speak their names. You know what I mean? And if I saw them, I wouldn't give them, a second look. I ain't going to do nothing. I ain't going to start nothing with them, but we just don't get along anymore. I don't look at them the same way. I can't look at them the same way. And for whatever reason, it is what it is. Sometimes we say that, that's just, you learn how to deal with people. You learn how to deal with people from a distance, or you act accordingly with people because of things they've done, of ways they've treated you, things of that nature. And that's okay. Let's not be like the dog and the fox here and get a hatred in you so much that, you're constantly hunting each other down, or every time you see each other, it's on sight to say. Every time you see each other, you guys are ready to go at it. Now, that's not what we want to do, but sometimes things happen, and you just have to separate yourself from that person, from those people, from that family, and you just can't be friends anymore. But that doesn't necessarily mean you have to be enemies to the level of confrontation every time you see them. But I like this story though for that analogy, I guess, on humanity. How we do those type of things. But let's be better. Let's do better. Let's try to mend some of those ancient scars. Let's try to mend some of those ancient friendships. I feel like we can do it as humans. We're gifted with that ability to learn from our past, and learn from the things we have done, and mend things. We may never be friends again. We may never be, best friends again. We may not sit at the table with each other and laugh and joke, but we can at least be cordial. You know what I mean? We can get to that level, I believe. No matter what the sex, nationality, gender, whatever is separating us, I feel like we can one day, hopefully, maybe not in my lifetime, maybe not in yours, but one day as humans, we could get to a point where we could at least be cordial enough not to fight. But again, thank you for listening. Thank you for being here. Also, I wanted to say we are now on Audible and Amazon Music. So if you listen on those platforms, please go. Listener support is also available in Anchor.fm if you want to support the show. But as I always say, thank you, and have a blessed day. Thank you again for your time. Thank you for supporting and sharing this podcast with your family and friends. You can always find Afro Tales Podcast on Anchor, Spotify, or wherever you listen to podcasts. If you want to leave me a message or a tweet. I can be found on Twitter at AfroTalesCast, on Instagram and Facebook at AfroTalesPodcast, and now on Coffee at coffee.com/AfroTalesPodcast, where you can financially support me for the price of one small cup of coffee. However you support, I thank you and I appreciate it always. So until next time, have a great day.